high-speed rail. Where do you stand on that?
Doesn't make sense for our demographic. We don't have the metropolitan areas. Plus, it's not high-speed rail. It's a misnomer.
Right.
And it's billions of dollars that we don't have.
Well, we talked about that when he was on Tuesday, and, Portland, Oregon is I saw this hour-long special on Portland. Beautiful city.
Yeah.
They're trying to go green. They're trying to reinvent. They built these rail lines, and they built these high-speed rails. They found that there was a lot of growth in business, and businesses opened up along the lines. They don't want people driving cars. But at the same time, the rail lines are losing money. They're not making money.
What it becomes is the gift that eats.
Yeah.
That you build them, and certainly they have some use to someone. And
sure.
There's no denying that. The point is, how sustainable are they, and how much more debt can we pass forward, and how much more responsibility does the government want to take for running these things that are unsustainable unless there's government money? The fundamental difference between a lot of people and me, and Mike and me, our Curie, is he thinks all solutions have a government solution. I know that's not true. I know that instinctively I've created a lot more value with the money I've spent in my life and the business I've built than the government would do with that same money.
Mike, you're on with Richard Hanna. Go ahead.
Hi, Mr. Hanna. Can you explain the importance of private business and the tax cuts for them that benefit the working class?
Well, that's pretty simple, really. That about 70 to 80% of all jobs in this country are created by the private sector. Those people that the private sector hire, about 70% of our economy is the consumer. And the idea that the government can take money from the private sector and hire people and have that be a net gain because they're government jobs is absurd. The American entrepreneur has been the source of value and energy, enthusiasm, and growth in this country. And that's what's made this country exceptional. And that's what's being undone right now. We are busy killing the goose in this country, and the goose is private enterprise. It's people like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs and Oracle and all these big companies that have value-added products. We need to focus on engineering, and Mr. Obama's right about this. Engineering, mathematics, all those things, sciences, we're falling behind. The reason we're facing structural unemployment in this country that could approach 10% and may stay there is not that we don't have enough money flowing around the economy. It's that we have fallen behind the rest of the world. We've become uncompetitive.
The mailman on the line. Are you our mailman or Richard's? Did I lose him? No, I didn't. Either. Oh, the mailman
Chase by
is gone. What about I was watching TV last night, and I on KTV they showed the Historical Society. Did you see that roof collapse?
No.
At the Historical Society, like in August, there's a big plaster roof that just came down. Now there were all these chairs set up. Looked like there was going to be some sort of a presentation or something. And the tables in the front where maybe a panel would be speaking, but all these right down on top of where the audience would be sitting, this huge, I don't know, 10-foot,
that'd be about
gigantic chunk of plaster came down and just smashed down. If were people sitting there, people would have died. And I'm thinking, old building. How does this not happen in Italy, in places where the buildings are really old? But and you might be the person to ask about this. Old building, are we doing enough? And I'm going to kind of parlay this into roads, bridges, electrical lines, sewer systems, water systems. Everything, all this stuff was built a long, long time ago, and we've just let it run. What are we in for? I mean, is our infrastructure about ready to crumble here?
Well, sure it is. Utica actually has brick sewers, hand-laid brick sewers. They have a very, very old infrastructure. The water systems in some places are. And the problem is, because we don't have growth, we have a decline in our population base and economic base, that there are fewer and fewer people left to pay what are larger and larger bills.
Sure.
What we've seen in New York is 1.5 million people leave to find opportunity because the cost of living, doing business, and growing here, and the idea that that the state has a handle on all of these things. It does not. People know that, and they're discouraged. The biggest crisis in government today is not a lack of money or low interest rates. It's a lack of confidence, as people don't believe that Albany and Washington have a way to fix anything.
Right. I want to ask you, would you be interested if we were to set up a debate? We're looking to set up a series of debates here in the studio. 1 hour, we bring in both candidates. They sit down on the love seat together. Janine wouldn't be sitting there. And we throw out questions and let both sides answer. Would you be willing to participate in that?
I have to fit it in my schedule, but I have no reason not to.
Okay.
We certainly did a lot of that last time, and it's not something I've done in my life, but I felt like I know what I'm doing. I can represent myself, and I can think on my feet. I try to know the issues.
And so, you're not that polished politician. Can you do debates put you in a position where it's hard to debate a polished politician and a former DA?
No, not at all. I mean, I think that that I have a depth of knowledge and a breadth of knowledge that's much larger than my opponents, and I also believe that sound bites are not answers.
Right.
Thought is, and one of the frustrating things for me is that I read the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, I get the Foreign Affairs magazine, the Scientific American, and I belong to a couple of economic think tanks that I just find it interesting. Yeah. So I'm being criticized on TV for getting a newsletter from one of these groups, and it's just it bothers me, because what it suggests to me is that you can't learn. And
right. You can learn from people you don't agree with.
Well, that's how you do learn, right? If all you do is read things that agree with you, what have you accomplished?
Do you surround yourself with yes men, yes women? Everybody's got to say yes to you?
No, I'm successful here today not because I hired people that agreed with me, because I desperately tried to find people who were better at what they did than I could ever be. Mm-hmm. And I did that. I mean, I want people smarter than me, and for whatever task I hire them to do, I want them to be able to do it better than me. I'm not threatened by people who are smarter than me. I revel in it.
That's maybe my problem. Right, Mark?
You got it, Bill. You're number one, boss.
Yes. All right. Final word here, Richard. Why should they vote for you?
People have a real choice. I mean, you having Mr. Arcuri, someone who spent his first 2 years working hard to get his friends elected to local offices. He claims to be the new generation of leadership. For Utica, he is the new generation of the same old leadership. And if that's harsh, that's what I believe. I'm a person who's doing this for reasons that are simple. I love my community. I want to see it grow for my children. I would like to be able to stay here. I'd like to live long enough to see this place turn the corner and stop this constant and endless decline. And we can't do that the way we're going about it now. It's not about politicians. It's about the people and what we owe them and what the job entails. We need thoughtful, deliberate action. We need people who reach across party lines. We need to stop this endless war of parties in Washington and do the number one thing that people are paid to do in government, and that is fix our problems, and not for the next generation, not for the next cycle, which is what you see now, but for the next generation. And I believe that our kids won't care if our politics are to the right or to the left, but they will know in their lifetime if we move this country forward or backward. And we're going backward right now.
Richard Hanna, thank you so much for coming on. I'm glad we got you in, and we'll let you know on that potential debate. That might be interesting. So, all right, we'll take a break. We'll come right back here. It's Keeler in the Morning, 92.7 The Drive. Richard Hanna. We had our Curie on earlier in the week, and there we have Mr. Hanna. Take a break. Come right back.
Lately, everything seems to